Hello lovers, welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. Hello, my darlings. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. How are we all doing? It has been the most gorgeous week of weather here in the UK. And I know us Brits love to talk about the weather. But let me just talk about it a little bit more because honestly, it's just giving me a little spring in my step, you know, blue skies all around. All this week, all I could think about is when I could get on my paddleboard and get out on the water. Thankfully, I went out yesterday. I brought a friend with me. It was so nice. I think we spent a good few hours out there as well. And I'm hopefully going to be going again tomorrow with another friend. Actually, all the friends I'm seeing this weekend, I've met through yoga, which I think is just so beautiful. I know Danny and I have mentioned last season, you know, if you feel like you've met someone a couple of times and you feel like there's a bit of a vibe, just slide into their DMs, just invite them for coffee or invite them to do something, or if you know that there's something you already have in common, invite them and see if they want to go with you. That's literally what I've done. And yeah, really, really sweet. So I'm looking forward to that. And also actually just mentioned Danny. I feel like I obviously have to mention, I'm sure everyone's seen the news already, but little Darcy is here. Kim has had little Darcy and oh my God, she is beautiful. I've not met her yet. Hopefully I'm going to meet her soon. But honestly, Danny is so thrilled. I know lots of you were asking Danny and myself in classes and everything. So yeah, Darcy is here. She is a little stunner. And yeah, so Danny is now in her auntie era. So let's just say a little congrats. Woohoo! And also I saw Danny the morning Darcy was born, and Danny and I were going for a little walk, and I asked her how things are going, and she said to me, I think she's going to be a Wellness Wednesday baby, and she is. so cute. So yes, welcome to the world, little Darcy. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that piece of good news. What else has been going on this week? I feel like peace is slowly making its way back into my life. I didn't realize that I'd maybe lost my sense of peace a little bit. Well, no, I think that's a lie. Maybe I had realized I'd lost it. I don't know where I'd lost it. But yeah, I feel like slowly but surely peace is making its way back into my life. And the way in which I realized this is that I just realized I'm falling in love with little things around me again. I'm a big fan of romanticizing life. I'm a big lover girl. I'm not going to try and hide it. I'm not going to try and deny it. I love noticing these small magical moments just in the most mundane of days. There was a moment this week where I was just going for a walk by the river, and there was this dad, bless him, who was in absolute hysterics at his daughter. I think he'd bought her an ice cream and she must have got it all over her face, and he was just in absolute hysterics trying to wipe her, trying to clean her. And he was just like, what have you done? What are you doing? She's like, I don't know. I just found it so sweet. And again, there's been lots of little things like that. Again, just noticing things around me. I think people call them like little glimmers where things just like, oh, what a beautiful moment. So yes, that is something I highly recommend you try and do this next week. Just search for these little glimmers where, again, it reminds you that, you know, life's not too bad. It's all good. You're fine. Everything's good. Everything's no longer on fire, which is definitely the case for me. It's felt like everything's been burning around me and I've been sat in this like protective bubble. You know that meme where everything's on fire and there's this little cartoon character in the center saying, this is fine. This is okay. Everything's going to be fine. I literally felt like that was me, and I had somewhat of this protective bubble around me. And yeah, it's been a time. But yes, peace is slowly making its way back, focusing in on myself again, focusing on nourishing my friendships around me again, keeping in good contact with my family again. Honestly, yes, it's so easy how those things slip. And it's only once, you know, you have let them slip that you realize like, oh God, okay. So yes, that's definitely been a bit of a focus this last week. I had my maintenance day in last week's episode. I feel like this is maybe another bit of a maintenance day. I feel like every time I record a podcast, it's probably going to be during I'm having a maintenance day. I don't like to record this podcast in a rush. Like, I know some people do, like, okay, I've got this amount of time, so here, let's bash out an episode. I can't do that. I like to take my time. I like to waffle a little bit. Also, like, behind the scenes of this podcast, I cut so much. I redo things so much. I think this is probably my third take of trying to start this episode. And I'm going to explain why a little bit later on. Yeah, there is a reason. But yes, she just waffles like mad. But here we go. Here it is. That's the situation. It's all good. I did have a particular topic in mind for this episode, but I think I've changed my mind a little bit. I was going to talk about, again, nourishing those female friendships, which I kind of already mentioned already. Maybe I'll save this for another week. But I think the thing I want to talk about this week is the fact that there's this silent part of healing that no one talks about. So naturally, I'm going to talk about it. And what it is when this event happens, this traumatic thing happens. For me, it was my big heartbreak. And I do believe that this will resonate in other areas, perhaps grief, but I don't want to talk about that too much because that's not my experience. I'm going to talk about my experience with my heartbreak, but again, this can translate so easily. So I'm hoping this lands with, again, the people that need it. But yes, there's this silent part of healing where the dust settles. You're not in the fallout stage. So therefore, it's not really talked about. And it's this really bizarre, multi-layered experience that I think I'm in right now. And I mean, in my experience, I went through that big heartbreak, and honestly, it felt like I was immediately surrounded by this overwhelming love and support. Literally, my dad asking me on FaceTime, "What do you need?" And I said, "I need you here." And my mum and dad just absolutely bombed down the motorway. Obviously safely, but to get to me. And, my family just really rallied around me. My friends just absolutely supported me so much. And I've never experienced that before in my life. And I hope I never have to experience it again, but is this comforting feeling that if it does happen again, I have that, regardless, I have that, which is so beautiful. And I'm so thankful for that support that I received, that I will never forget that for my entire life, that I will always remember those first few days, weeks. And actually, it's weird. In talking about this now, it's not the sadness that I remember. Actually, yeah, that love is what I remember most. That's what stayed with me most, that how supported I was. So yeah, that's actually something to be taken from that. Yeah, that's interesting. So you go through the first few weeks, months, or however long it takes, where again, you're just working through the initial fallout process. And for me, again, it's just like, okay, finding my feet. Okay, let's literally plan my time. Like, what am I going to eat tomorrow? How am I going to keep myself nourished? How can I just really focus in on the basics? And I filled my time with seeing my friends as well. And I know some people would perhaps disagree with that and would encourage others to maybe sit with the feelings a little bit. I definitely did that as well, but I think that comes with time. I think, again, in those initial first few weeks, it's filling your time and learning that you can laugh again. There is joy again. You will experience joy again. And it's also perfectly okay to feel this joy, this happiness with this underlying sadness at the same time, and this underlying heartbreak. They can exist together. And it's a beautiful but messy and confusing experience. But then when the dust settles and you don't really talk about it that much with your friends anymore. I do sometimes mention it to my family a little bit, but yeah, it's not really the key focus in a conversation. People have other things going on, and you do move on. There's other things that you will naturally talk about as well. But then in the back of your mind, there's these thoughts, there's these realizations that slowly land. And the way in which I imagine it is literally like this suitcase. Imagine you've got home from a holiday and you have this suitcase, but you just don't want to unpack it. So it stays there in the corner of the room, and no matter how much you try and disguise it, you might put a blanket over it or a throw over it, and you might put a potted plant on top of it. You try and disguise it, and ultimately it does kind of become part of the furniture, but that suitcase is still there. And it's not until, I don't know, you move that potted plant to maybe clean around it that you're like, oh, that's still there. I haven't unpacked that yet. I haven't touched that yet. I mean, in this exact analogy, this would never be me because I'm the type of person that when I get home from holiday, I'm unpacking that suitcase. Even if it's like at midnight, I will unpack that suitcase there and then. But again, this is just kind of a loose metaphor that I think, yeah, hopefully this again will resonate with some people. So yes, it's like having this suitcase that's been left unpacked. And then a certain amount of time will pass, and then that suitcase will make itself known again, somehow, some way. And I think I'm at the stage right now where I'm looking at the suitcase and I've maybe like pulled a zip back. I've maybe looked in the front pockets a little bit, but I'm yet to fully open the lid of that suitcase and actually see what's in there. Or maybe I have pulled the lid back and I'm actually, okay, there's actually a lot here. Oh, this suitcase is heavy. Okay, right. Maybe it's time I unpack this now. And I think for me, because I am very self-aware, I think I've always known that there's going to be this unpacking later down the line. But what has stunned me is that how silent it is and how this part of healing does really just happen in the silence. And I know a lot of people talk about like, you should heal loudly, celebrate your small wins, because there was this trend on Instagram saying heal loudly because we almost lost you in the silence. And that has never felt truer for me. And yes, there is this element of healing loudly, but there's this quiet, subtle part of healing that I think I'm currently in. And I think that's why it's been difficult for me to record this episode, because I'm in it. I'm in this phase right now of this silent healing that just no one really talks about. It's so strange. I'm still finding the words to describe it, but it's so multi-layered, it's so multifaceted. It's bizarre because it's nearly 2 years ago now. I almost feel like I should stop talking about it. But then I just know deep down in the back of my mind, and I literally had a reminder this morning, no matter how much I think that no one needs to hear this now, I just know that there is some girl, there is some woman who is going through the worst time of her life. Oh God. Okay, here we go. There is a woman who is going through the worst time of her life, who is scared to go to bed alone. She's not sure of her next steps. Her entire life that she has built for however many years, be it 5 years, be it even 2 years, or for me, 8 years, her entire life that she has built has just come crumbling down. And she doesn't know what to do. And it's for that woman, or those women, that I'm speaking to. I know there is a woman somewhere who's just doing her absolute best, trying her absolute hardest to just hold and gather herself and build herself from the ground up, because that is exactly what I had to do. And yes, it's been a while. It's been about 1.5 years now. There was a phase where I was literally counting in my journal. I literally write down like 3 months post breakup, or like a year. Like I used to write like how long it had been. I haven't done that for a long time now, but it was a great way for me to see how things have unfolded over a certain amount of time. I don't know why I did that, but I don't know. For me, it was just interesting to see. I hope in me sharing this now, again, it's going to land with those women. It's going to land with the people that need it most. And it's going to land with the people that have perhaps been through a similar thing, and maybe they can resonate with this silent part of healing that, again, no one talks about. So let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Let's get it all out in the open. It feels disgusting AF. It feels horrible. It feels so messy. But we know healing happens through feeling, but healing also happens through speaking, through talking. Oh, goodness. This is why it's taken me so long. This is why it's taken me a few takes with this podcast, because there's a lot here. And again, I think this suitcase is being unpacked in real time. There's still a few things that I personally will not disclose yet. Maybe like out of like a self-preservation, just to kind of protect myself a little bit whilst I'm going through it live. And I suppose what I just really want to put out there is that no matter what you have been through, no matter what cards you have been dealt, you are moving through it. You are moving through it in your own way, and it doesn't matter what it looks like to the outside eye. Just know that as you are moving through this, there's an undeniable power in that. And I actually experienced this the other week. I was going through, again, this really tricky time. I mentioned this last week as well, how I was being really triggered and there was lots of things on the surface for me. But there was almost this weird kind of comfort, because I know in this moment of discomfort where, again, everything felt like it was on fire, there was a comfort that came with it, because I knew this is part of the process. This is part of this healing journey. This is part of this pathway towards wherever I'm heading. This is all part of it. And there was this weird kind of comfort that came with that. So I suppose I want this to be kind of comforting in some way, that there's going to be moments where, again, it feels like everything is absolutely on fire. It's going to feel like everything is crumbling around you. But amongst that, you are still stood. You are still stood. And that is incredible. You have still stood against everything. And as you stand for everything that you value. You stand for everything that you hold dear to yourself. You stand for what you believe in. You advocate for yourself. And that is huge. That is absolutely incredible. And you should be in awe of that. You should 100% be in awe of that. I literally had to take so many breaks in recording this. As, oh, God. There's some emotions here right on the surface. But it's good. It's that weird comforting feeling. Because I know that this means so much to something. To hear this is going to mean so much to someone. I don't know who that person is, but they're somewhere and they are listening to this, and hopefully in listening, their shoulders have been able to roll back just a little. They've been able to sigh out just a little. They've been able to soften just a little, in knowing that they aren't alone in the loud part of healing, but also the silent part of healing. And I suppose this also touches upon something my coach actually said to me, I think a few weeks back, how I had, in some ways, I'd like diluted my story and what happened. Again, I'd stopped talking about it because, I kind of dialed it down. Everyone has gone through a heartbreak. My story is pretty much like any other. There's nothing special about it. So it's just your run-of-the-mill heartbreak. And it sounds silly to say that because, yes, it was the most traumatic time of my life. But, run-of-the-mill heartbreak, that's what it is. But something my coach said is, in you sharing your story, it's going to allow so many other people to share theirs. Yes, everyone perhaps goes through heartbreak. And yes, it is probably the worst time. But heartbreak can be such a beautiful portal of transformation. And I just want people to know that, to recognize that, to hold on to that. Oh, what a journey this is, hey. And I actually, one thing I hate is calling it a healing journey. I hate it so much. Can we call it something else? Can we all collectively come up with a name for this and not make it healing journey? I don't know whether it's like healing pilgrimage or something, or walking through fire. I don't know. I just hate saying healing journey. And maybe that's something that's within that suitcase that needs to also be unpacked. But my goodness. So wherever you are at in your, dare I say it, journey, whether you're right at the beginning, somewhere in the middle, or I don't know, 3 years down the line, however far it is, whether you're in that loud part of healing, whether you're in that silent part of healing, know that, again, you're worthy. Your story is still worthy of being shared, no matter how long it's been. And it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it, with your family, with your friends. It's okay to talk about it on a podcast to whoever is listening. It's okay to talk about it on your social media. It's okay to talk about it, because you release so much when you actually put words out there. And words are beautiful. There's a spoken word somewhere in the back of my mind that's yet to be yet to come to fruition from all these thoughts. But yeah, don't feel as though you have to stay in that silence. That silent part of healing can, again, be a beautiful time. I think all stages of healing are somewhat beautiful. And yes, there's something to be savoured about that quiet subtlety in it. But when it feels okay for you to do so, you can be loud about it as well. Again, if there's a thought on your mind, you can talk about that too. Like the thought that's particularly on my mind in this silent stage of healing, and I've shared this a little bit on my Instagram already, but it's the fact that you can spend so long with someone, nearly an entire decade with your life so entwined, and then cut to now where you are complete strangers. And it's this strange phenomena that I can't quite put into words. But I know others have experienced this too. I've already had people message me. I've already had people reach out to me. So I know others experience this too. And I'm not sure how to yet put it into words. Again, it's all going to come out in a spoken word. That's how I roll. So stay tuned in a couple of weeks, or maybe in a month or so, it will come to be. But yeah, it's this time where I know there's so much going on in that head of yours. It's okay to speak it. And again, that's what this podcast is all about, right? It's all about using your voice. It's all about living that soft life loudly and appreciating the beauty of transformation. You're in it right now. You are transforming. And the work you are doing in the silence or in public or, or loudly, you are transforming. So again, find that little slither of comfort knowing that you are becoming something. You don't have to know what it is. You are bettering yourself. And again, you are moving through it. I would absolutely love to hear some of your stories. Please leave a comment underneath this episode, or get in touch with me at butterflyeffect.pod on Instagram. Or if you have my other social medias, that's absolutely fine too. I would absolutely love to hear your story. I would actually love to give space for you to share what's on your mind, whatever part of healing you are at. Share your story with me and I will be supporting you 1,000 times over. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. This has been exhausting. I feel like I've just had a public therapy session. I mean, I do feel like sometimes that's what this podcast is for me. It's like, again, it's this weird kind of exposure therapy. That suitcase maybe slowly getting a little bit unpacked. I don't know. I might have taken like one item out just there. We'll see. We'll see. But yes, thank you so much as always for listening, loves. Thank you so much for following and subscribing to the podcast. The followers grew massively since last week, and I'm so pleased, so amazed. Again, thank you. And then please do go ahead and follow me at butterflyeffect.pod. Check out the class content and meditations I have available on Patreon. Feel free to join me over there. And yes, I shall see you next week for another Wellness Wednesday episodes. Go out, enjoy the sunshine or whatever weather it is. Just go dance in the rain, whatever. Who cares, right? Have an amazing day. And love you. See you later. Mwah.